Welcome to this episode of Wash Talk. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today my guest is Phil Marquart from Dencar. Welcome.
Thanks, Brian.
Where'd you come in from today?
Right here in Akron, Ohio.
Nice, nice. It's actually a really nice day today in Akron.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, winter's coming, but right now it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Well, hey, tell me a little bit about yourself and the career path that led you to where you are today.
Sure. So I spent the last 20 years corporate America. I was experiencing global communications, technology, a little bit of time in the ATM industry, and then most recently and most importantly, bank processing and card processing, where I learned a lot. And kind of a little bit about me outside of that, I spent the last 13 years with a side hustle of renovating car washes. So it started out as bought a car wash in the hood, renovated it, learned a lot, bought another car wash, renovated it, learned a lot, and then started building car washes. So the renovations were great, low cost structure, the builds got expensive, and when we started looking into the build side, there was something we needed more from the payment environment because we were architecting a 24/7, 365-day-a-year operation that didn't need to have people there, and we needed a membership program. We needed to compete. That's an evolving part of the industry. We scanned the different environments out there that were offering membership programs, and they didn't work for an unattended environment. You either had to have a person there to apply an RFID sticker to a windshield, or you had to have the fallacy of fraud and abuse that exists if you don't have that sticker on the windshield via either the mobile app solutions that stand alone on their own or the RFI or the LPR systems that are out there. With people abusing the program. So the solutions didn't meet our needs, so we went out to solve it, and we did for ourselves. And that's kind of where Dencar has come from, out of the United Auto Wash company here in Akron, Ohio, and just keep growing from there.
Nice, nice. Well, I do want to talk to you about that. You really have a unique perspective because you own car washes and operate car washes, and you also develop technology for car washes. With all the changes that are going on right now in the car wash space, tell me, can a kiosk or can a pay station, can it be as effective as a person standing there selling memberships?
I'd say it depends.
Yeah.
So if you have a super rock star salesperson and customer service person, they will outperform any system out there.
Yeah.
No doubt, hands down, they will. But that person is limited in the hours that they can work, the consistency that they work, and their ability to work. So when you try to scale an organization and a platform, as soon as you inject a person into that process, that person, you're reliant on them. What we saw with the pay station is you can definitely sell a membership. We designed it from the ground up how we wanted. We're able to sell a membership in 10 seconds on a pay station. It's literally it. The reason we did this focus on speed and efficiency was because as an operator, I know that I will sell the most memberships on the day when my wash is packed and out to the street. That's just how it works. There's a lot of FOMO going on those days. People are fearing, what are they missing out on? How do I get out of here? Everybody's impatient. There's a line, but then they want to buy. So you've got to be fast, efficient, and you can do that with people, but what if that person doesn't show up? Right now you've got a mess on your hands. So when you inject people into a process, you're relying on them for that process. So what we did with the pay station environment was we engineered out all the people we could. And we built a system that goes from the initial sales of the membership through the fulfillment of the membership to the redemption of the membership to the administration of the membership, all without people. And that did not exist in the industry. There are some things that are catching up on that. But that fundamental tenet of no people through the whole process didn't exist, and that didn't suit our needs. So we went out and we solved it. And I can tell you that without people, we're selling a lot of memberships. You're never going to beat that rockstar salesperson, but then you're also relying on that rockstar salesperson. And running 24/7, 365 like our systems do, you can't staff that. And you can't staff that reliably. It's expensive. It just doesn't work. So we can have people assist the process and the system when they're there, but if they don't show up, the whole thing still works. That's the beauty of what we've built. Automation, 10-second sales process, and then fraud mitigation as well on it.
Let's talk about your experience with your car washes. I mean, when you did have people involved selling memberships versus now that you don't have people involved selling memberships, is the pay station as effective?
So last year we had some pretty poor weather in Ohio for washing. It was just a winter that nobody liked. As an operator, as a customer, everybody loved the winter because it wasn't that bad on their cars. But we eliminated any people from selling anything in our process, and we grew 58% in memberships during that time.
Oh, wow.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
And what's different is when people come to a decision on their own terms, they're more likely to be happy with the decision they've made. When they feel pressured, or this guy, I'm just going to buy this membership so this guy stops talking to me, and then they're going to pull around and cancel it later. That's not the relationship you want to start out with. Mm-hmm. So when you pull up and you're being hard sold, and this can be changed with sales tactics too, but when you pull up and you're hard sold and you feel like you're being pressured into it, are you going to buy it? Right? They might buy it just to get out of there, but then they're going to cancel it. So when the pay station's doing it with signage and social media, which we're getting better on, we're learning on social media. We didn't do much there before, but now we're getting big into that personally. So I think that the person that comes to that decision on their own, they're more likely to stay. And we're very happy about that too. We can do it where we can answer questions. You kind of learn when you're on site, if you're helping, how to approach the customer and how to go about that. That's a little bit of a read on a person. Mm-hmm. But if you're not there, the machine does it all still, and they can do it without you. And I know those days when we're slammed to the street, we're selling memberships like crazy. I'm not even there doing it. It's just happening on all the bays. It works. And I know it does.
Wow. I wanted to ask you about the pros and the cons, but I think we might have covered all the pros. Are there any cons to not having people involved in the process?
The con is answering the question that's on their mind. Mm-hmm. So when a person has a question and they haven't read the signage, people don't read in life, they look, right?
Yeah.
They just look and it's not there, boom, they're moving on. So the con is the conversational part of it. So we think we can do a little better on that, mm-hmm. and we will do a little better on that. But the conversational aspect of it, when someone has a question, they're leading you to their decision-making process. They're taking you through it. They want the answers to this before they buy. That's not real easy on a pay station, but we're real consistent with what we do. And while we're there, we may educate someone about it, and they'll say, oh yeah, I'll check that out next time. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. They're going through a process to buy because they're making a commitment. This isn't just a one and done car wash. This is, hey, I'm starting a relationship with you. And I want to make sure my needs are going to be met for my car washing and my vehicle care and my happiness at your car wash. At the end of the day, people want their car clean. They want to get in, get out, right? They don't want to hang out all day. They got busy lives. They're doing this to get in, get out, move on with their lives, get their car clean. They could do this in the driveway with the bucket and it takes an hour, or they can do it at my site and it takes 5 minutes. They're in, they're out, the total time vacuuming and everything. So there's different information that they're looking for. And that's the hard part that is harder to do without a person. It's doable without a person, but it's not as effective without a person. But yeah, selling a membership, yeah, we've got that down. Promoting the stuff around the site, we've got that down. Social media, we're going to get better on. I'll just say it, I'm horrible at marketing, so we hired a firm for that, for our help. So we're addressing that as a company, and that's going to flow through to our customers after we figure it out.
Cool. Well, let's talk about the difference between a tunnel and an in-bay. Does the point of sale, does a pay station need to be different for a tunnel versus an in-bay automatic?
The environments are completely different. So the in-bay runs 24/7, 365, no human contact. They just run. They don't rely on people. A tunnel, higher volume, higher stress levels, throughput it's all about throughput, especially on the busy days. Multiple lanes queuing into one bay so that you can match the throughput of the payment along with the throughput of the tunnel. So you're trying to manage your bottlenecks in the process. Normally one of the biggest bottlenecks is payment. In an in-bay, it's one-to-one. So there is no merge management, bottleneck management. It flows through the process. So what we had to do for Dencar specifically was we knew the in-bay market, we knew the membership market. We had to innovate around the edges for a few things on the tunnel market to be able to offer our services into there. And we did that. So we've added visual queue management, multi-lane merge management, gate control, membership part. We had all that, and then we had to add some additional access technologies, which we just finished up on and is working really well. So, but they are very different. But you can have one system that can span both of them, and that's what we've developed with our platform.
Now, you mentioned that somebody at one of your personal washes, can be in there 5 minutes, go through the wash, do the vacuum, and they're back on the street. And you also mentioned that you don't have any people at your washes. Do you have any issues with the vacuums being abused at your wash? Because there's no one there to monitor it.
So fraud and abuse is something you're worried about at a car wash, and I'll get back to the vacuums first. So the first fraud we saw in abuse was on the car wash itself. And as soon as you open up to a membership program, you open yourself up as an operator and an owner to fraud. Mm-hmm. It happens everywhere. Just ask Netflix about it, right? I mean, what was the last statistic? 100 million people were stealing from them.
Wow.
Yeah, they're going to fix that, and they are.
Yeah.
So we saw the same trends at our car washes, and we had to fix that. So we developed a system called ViaGuard. It's vehicle identification automation. So it's checking the member's vehicle to make sure it's the right vehicle on the wash membership every time they come through. And if it's not, it tells the operator something's going on, go take a look at this, but it never slows down your line, because if you remember going back to the operator mentality, hey, on that busy day, don't mess this up, right? On a slow day, it doesn't matter as much, but on a busy day, you can't have any of that impact your wash operation. So fraud in the membership program, absolutely. We fixed that. We fixed it. It works at the tunnels. The same system we did for the in-bays works at the tunnels. And then we had to add these other things around the edge to innovate and grow ourselves.
How does that work?
So it checks the plate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's checking the plate. The member scans, enters their code, or the RFID sticker scans too, any one of those three, and it checks the plate after they go in. So it doesn't do it beforehand, which is what the rest of the industry wanted to do, is they wanted to stop anything before it happens. But if you're not there to rectify that, you've now stopped the whole line behind you.
Yeah.
That's the fallacy. So if you stop the line behind you, you've got the guy upset up front. Now you've just impacted, 7, 8, 10 people behind him. You have a mess on your hands.
Yeah.
And if you're not there to fix it, good luck getting those people back on property.
Yeah.
So our system lets all that go through, and you address it later. And the person to mitigate that on site is expensive, possibly not reliable, and you're architecting your whole environment around that person to go solve this issue. That's not how I want to run the business. I want to be able to run it without people if they don't show up. We don't worry about scheduling. The tunnels are very used to scheduling. In in-bay market, they're not used to scheduling because they're always open. You can't schedule that, right? You can't staff it. And if you look at the mega trends in the industry, you've got labor is expensive and getting more expensive, hard to find and hard to keep good skilled people. Mm-hmm. So those are two mega trends that you're fighting. And I did not want to design any of that into our system and be reliant on it. Because as soon as you're reliant on it, you're effectively, hamstringing your business at that point. And we didn't want to do that. So ours runs without people. The cost of the potential fraud is absolutely minimal compared to the cost of people. So if you let's just say you give away 3,000 free washes, $2-3 a pop, right? Boom, what does that matter?
Yeah.
As an operator, it's like, what's the cost of a person to try to take care of that? So
or the cost of the 8 people that you upset that were stuck behind them.
Exactly. So those are easy decisions to make when you see it through our eyes as operators, and that's where the rest of the industry, they were, and it's no offense to anybody, that's just how they were thinking, and that's how they did it, and that's how it worked, and everybody was happy. But when we started looking at this and breaking it apart, we said, no, that's not how I want to live. And that's where the Dencar philosophy is around automation, 10-second sales process, and then fraud management. Those were the 3 funding tenements of our business. We had to have those 3 items nailed, and we did.
Before we get to the vacuum fraud, I just kind of want to walk me through this scenario. So let's say I sign up, and then I am in my wife's car, and I go through the wash, which I should have a membership for both vehicles. Mm-hmm. It lets me in. It washes my car. I leave. What's next? Like, how do we address that?
So the system's going to show me that something happened, or show the operator that something happened. Take a look at this. It doesn't do anything while you're on site. It handles it all through the mobile app because we have your mobile number. That's the one that's registered. That's what you purchased it under. So in the system, it pulls up a picture of you on the side of your vehicle, the back of your vehicle, and the plate, and it shows every transaction that's ever happened. So you don't have to go search through your DVR trying to figure out what the heck happened because you didn't catch it real time. You click on a button, it shows you all these pictures. And as soon as you see that that's happening, I now look at this fraudulent activity, quote unquote fraudulent, as a marketing event. So you've now shown me that you want to wash another vehicle. You are very ripe as a customer. You're a high value target for me to migrate from a single membership to a multifamily vehicle membership. And that's what I'm trying to do. And now this is a marketing event. So it's fraud technically, but it's a marketing event. You're showing me your other vehicles you want to wash. So in our system, we designed an automation of the fraud management and pickup from that with the plate. So it's all registering the vehicle with the plate, works with RFID, works with code entry, also works with QR code scan. It's very simple what we did, but we applied our desired end goal we applied the technology to our desired end goal of making this frictionless for the customer, because you would have no idea. Right?
Yeah.
You're just an innocent customer. You thought, oh, I can wash another vehicle. Well, yeah, but no.
Or maybe I drive by every, I know on Friday that I always get my car washed, and I might have just forgotten, like, oh, I drove my wife's car today because she needed my truck.
So you're an honest person. It's a marketing event. You click a button and the system sends you a text message.
Yeah.
The operator just clicks a button to handle this. You don't have to talk to anybody. That's the beauty of it. So when you have an honest person, the conversation's easy. Hey, Brian, this is for your one vehicle. Would you like to add the other? That's not easy to have when it's a fraudulent activity, because as soon as if a cheater's caught, what do?
They get angry.
And now your employee has to address that.
Yeah.
Not comfortable. Even I've done it many times. Not comfortable. I have no problem clicking the button now, because the button handles it. You just click the button, takes over. So the automation of the pickup happens of the activity, and then the activity is now they can make a decision on their own. So I'm not coaxing them into a decision. They're making a decision on their own through the system. The system sends them a text message. They receive the text message. They open the app. The app presents to them 3 options. On the first time, it says, hey, Brian, you washed another vehicle. Would you like to, A, add it to your family plan? Adds it to the family plan, checks them out, and they move on. B, update your plate because you got a new vehicle. That happens too. That's fine. It's not a fraudulent activity. It's just something that they didn't know they had to do is change their plate. Or C, the first time they get an oops button. So it's very non-confrontational. It just lets them know, hey, we're watching.
Yeah.
But you got your little, oh yeah, they caught me. So it's a no harm, no foul. It's a couple bucks a cost as you look at it from an operator. So it's not a huge event, but it's a one-time event. So the second time that happens, all that goes through the same process of the pickup of the fraud, and then the notification happens the same by triggering a button. You just click the button right there, that button, click the button, and then the second time they have no more oops button anymore. So they can either add the vehicle to their family plan, update their plate, or pay for the wash. Those are your 3 choices.
3 options, yeah.
At this point, you're on the fence if they're going to stay or not, because they're kind of like, okay, I thought I was just going to hit the oops button again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would much rather hit that oops button than have to talk to somebody and be embarrassed,
If you have a car full of people and you roll up, and now you've got a person that was cheating the system with a car full of people, what are they going to do? It's now embarrassing in front of all of their friends.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Think about that. So there's all the emotion going on, and you've got a high school kid trying to mitigate this?
Oh, yeah.
I don't like that. Or a college kid, or, it's not me, the owner, out there mitigating it.
Well,
I can't do that at all 10 bays, right? I can't.
I'm an adult, and I don't want to have that conversation with a car full of people. I mean, it could probably get ugly.
Yeah, so the system takes having that uncomfortable conversation out of it. You don't have to do it. It's all electronic. It's a quiet moment in their car or on their couch at home or wherever they are, because we're doing it via their mobile phone. Mm-hmm. We're not doing it on site, and we're not holding up the line. So, and the fraud, we know about it. It shows us. Previous systems that we looked at, it wouldn't show you any of this. So you had to go search and hunt and peck, and it was just it didn't work. So It didn't scale. It would drive you nuts. So as you try to scale an enterprise, you're trying to eliminate waste in the process. Well, that's human waste. So we don't need humans doing this work. We need someone to look at it, because the systems aren't perfect. Plates don't read perfect. It's just how it works. In the snow in Ohio, after a snowstorm, every truck has a bumper that goes like this. The snow covers the plate. You can't read a plate.
Yeah.
Just doesn't work. And we saw so many different variations in plate reading, and we saw this through our own eyes because we played with the technology at our washes, and we were like, hey, this doesn't work. Initially, we were turning the wash on with a plate, and then as soon as we saw how plate reading wasn't perfect, we're like, well, that's not good enough for our customers. So we initially started with a technology that we then flipped. So we said, whoa, that's not going to work. We have to pivot. So we pivoted to let them in. We'll sort all this out later.
Figured out later. Yeah.
We'll figure this all out later. Don't slow my line. Don't upset those 7 to 10 people behind them. Don't make me have to do all this. So we really wanted to simplify the environment so we could scale. And selling in 10 seconds, automating the process and the system end to end so you don't have to be there, and then keeping fraud out of the system. That's how you get this membership program working without people. And we did it.
Nice. Now, let's talk about the vacuums, because I'm
Yes.
curious about this, because anybody who, whether you worked at a car wash, owned a car wash, or if you've ever even been to a car wash, you've seen people drive in the exit and use the vacuum cleaners.
And if you take that one step further, when you run a car wash 24/7 and nobody's around for all this, not just driving through the exit, you now have the official party in your parking lot. So people will come in, they came for the free vac, they're having a party in your parking lot, they're unloading everything out of their cars, they're jamming up your trash cans. If you have members there or other customers there, it's not the people they want to be around, right?
Yeah.
And you're trying to police all that, and then they just came and they used your free vacuum and they sucked up all kinds of stuff because coming out of those cars with the party in the parking lot, we've all cleaned up after them. We don't watch them, but we clean up after them. That stuff just gets in your system, and it's clogging up things. It's creating customer dissatisfaction of the noise that's being played, and it's a mess. So those people then, after they've had the party in the parking lot, they leave, they use the free vacuum, they didn't get a car wash. Now you just spent all that cleanup time on this, and you upset members too, and other individual paying customers too. If they're, you don't feel safe sometimes, and it's like, I don't want that. So what we did to avoid the party in the parking lot, which you can't ever stop. So there will be parties in the parking lot, but at least I get paid for the party in the parking lot now, and it's not just free. So we pioneered a vacuum activation system for members that uses pretty simple technology actually inside the vacuum at very low costs that allows a member to get a free vacuum. Everybody else pays. And then we started that, I want to say 3-4 years ago on our own system. Worked really well. We had some learnings with it. That's how every development project goes. You got to get through that. And then we took it another level, which we're all about trying to take our car washes to the next level. And Dencar, as a business, we're taking that to the next level. And innovation is how we're doing that. And we took it to a central vacuum system too, which you actually came to the site and saw when we were learning at the time. And it's now up and working real well. The member scans a QR code, which if you look at some of the things that we use in our business, it's adoption of consumer technology that's been around for decades.
Yeah.
And it's just becoming more mainstream. The customer scans a QR code out of their mobile app. QR code sends a message up, says, yep, is that a valid customer? If yes, that's the vacuum they're at, turn it on. And it actually uses a central producer too to spin the producer up as soon as they scan. So it happens before they get back to their car door with the vacuum hose, everything's on.
Wow.
And then after they're done, they can either scan for more time or they can pay. If they're a non-member, the same thing happens on payment. But the producer then spins down when everything's done.
So you're saving electricity too.
Yeah, and you're not having some kid go hit the switch to turn it on and off. It runs 24/7, 365, which is how we run our business, without people having to be there. And that took time and energy to develop. We're really proud of what we developed. We're on our second iteration of it, and it's working really well on the second one. The first one's working, not as good as the second.
Yeah.
Second, we have improvements on. There's a couple little tweaks now, but overall, we're really, really pleased with the performance. And the biggest thing is our customers tell us about it too. So I'll actually have members compliment me that we don't give free vacs to everyone. So the members also feel special. Their members are special. Let's just get that out, right?
Yeah.
That's why they're there. They know they get free vacuums. Everybody else doesn't. But they compliment us on that. Hey, I love the fact that those people aren't here. And that's not rude. It's just the reality. Like, I don't want to be around this party in the parking lot. I'm here. I got my kids with me. I vac it out. I'm out. I don't want all that. I'm in. I'm out.
Yeah.
And I want to feel safe while I'm there too. So When you have people on site like a tunnel does, they can police this. They have to police it. Those could be uncomfortable conversations too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if it's just a nice customer like yourself, wanting to add your wife's vehicle, you're great. We'll take all of you we can, but we have to address the other ones that we have that aren't of the same mentality. So what you want is to keep your members happy, keep your individual customers happy, because if they're not happy when they leave your car wash, they're probably not going to come back to your car wash, right? Unless you're the only game in town, which we know the way the industry's gone, that's not the case, right?
Yeah.
So car washing, I really feel, is a happiness business. They're coming. It's a sense of accomplishment. It's a sense of happiness. When I have my car clean, I'm judged by the people at the soccer game. When I pull up in my nice clean car, if I got a little sticker in the windshield that shows who I'm washing with too, that's a branding event for the car wash. These are big deal things. They're small, subtle things, but they're big deal things for the success of the business. So that happiness as they leave, that's what you're after. If they don't feel safe and they're like, hey, I don't know if I want to go back to that. You know, if they're questioning it, then you may lose them. You may not, but you may, and you don't want to do that. So we curbed that fraud and abuse on the vacuums too. Again, it was one of those things that wasn't going to get done if we didn't go do it. So we went and did it, and we're very happy with what we've done. We've got more to do, but we have a really nice baseline of what we've done, and we're real excited about that helping transform our business.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience today, Phil?
I'd like to say that from a wash operator standpoint, we understand the business. We live it. Mm-hmm. We're not going to stop that either. It's a lot to do, but we've invested in a great team that helps us propel this forward. Our views are different, and we're okay with that because we see it through the operator lens. We're not perfect by any means. We're seeing some evolution of technologies that we're incorporating into our business. Like I mentioned, some are decades old. If you look at like texting, American Idol taught the world how to text, right? Let's rewind a little bit, right? American Idol did that. QR codes became really prevalent during COVID. Mobile devices and kiosks also have been evolving, and then they just exploded through COVID. Dencar is incorporating all of that into our solution for payments and doing that without people, doing it fast, 10-second wash pass sales, membership sales, and then also keeping fraud out of the system. So we're incorporating all of that into our solution for the car wash operators and the industry out there. And we're just excited to keep taking that forward. I think we're also going to see some reinvigoration in an older technology to the car wash, which is RFID reading. Mm-hmm. If you look at some of those other mega trends out there with labor and costs, the super large organizations of companies like Walmart, FedEx, and those companies, they're investing in RFID systems like crazy. And it's all about inventory tracking in their distribution center and their sales, and then moving that to the point of sale as well. That technology has been around for decades. The car wash industry was a little bit early to it, thankfully to some of the innovators in the industry, and they were pushing the envelope for that, and they got in and it worked. There's a resurgence in that. And we just finished up an RFID development and integration project. Just wrapped it up recently here. We're seeing incredible results out of it. And the new technologies are really impressive. And it still says RFID, but there's all this other stuff wrapped around it. And I think you're going to see a resurgence in that in the industry. So plate reading is more of a fallacy. It works great. When it works, it's great. But then when it doesn't work, it's horrible. Mm-hmm. So we've designed another belt and suspenders approach with RFID reading that we're taking out to the market now, and we're real excited with what we're seeing.
Nice. Well, thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, always a good time. And thank you for taking the time to join us for this professional car washing and detailing wash talk. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today my guest has been Phil Marquart from Dencar. We hope to see you again on another episode.